Jesus came. And then Jesus came. Do you hear those 4 words? They are 4 words that divide all time and eternity. Just think about that for a moment. And then Jesus came. When everything was wrong, and it seemed as if there was no one to turn to and nowhere to go, we hear these words, and then Jesus came. The good news today is found in knowing that with these words, God draws a line in the sand of every soul. And then Jesus came. These words are the resounding refrain in the gospel narratives when we read of the miracle stories and the close encounters that Jesus had with people. Not close encounters with whole people or people deemed socially important or influential. Instead, I'm referencing the close encounters with people who were desperate, people who were marginalized, even those who had fallen from grace. Encounters with people whom society had abandoned, and those who were at their wits' end in life. People who had exhausted every option and now felt as if their backs were against a wall of sorts, and that life's circumstances had painted them into a corner. It was to these kind of people and more that these 4 words resound with help, hope, and happiness. And then Jesus came. These words, my brothers and sisters, are not to be left on the pages of a first-century narrative, nor are they to be merely assigned to certain individuals and situations that have been recorded in the Gospels. On the contrary, these 4 words can incite inspiration and rekindle faith in the life of anyone who is Christian. For these words ring true for every child of God who too may be in a place or station in life in which it seems as if there is no help or hope to be found. You know, life can do that to us. Life can be so unfair. Life can deal you a bad hand. And when this happens, and when we have tried everything we know to handle the heartaches and hardships of life, these 4 words, and then Jesus came, they resonate with the same kind of hope for us as they did for people who lived in the life and times of Jesus while he was here on earth. This was the work of Jesus as depicted in the Gospels. His was a work that would enter into the broken and burdened lives of people at a time in which they may have felt that all was lost. His was a work aimed at those whose lives had been shackled or shattered by sin, whose lives had been filled with misfortune and hardship. His work was geared toward those who leave for us their testimonies of triumph when these 4 words rang true in their lives. And then Jesus came. 4 words that began with a conjunction of connection. And by virtue of the construct of this phrase, it gives us hope that whatever preceded these words was about to be handled. And then Jesus came. It did not matter as to what kind of situation of circumstance that prefaced these words. They in and of themselves speak to the fact that a reversal is guaranteed to take place. Now, such a guarantee is not possible if the phrase would include any other person or name other than Jesus. I mean, if one were to say, and then Moses came, or and then Elijah came, then Paul came, and then Matt Vicker came, it would not hold the same significance. Can I get a witness? Because no other person has the power or capability of issuing a cancellation notice to whatever problem preceded their arrival. However, this is not the case with Jesus. We acknowledge that his arrival creates change. We recognize that his arrival is transformational. His arrival, church, guarantees a different outcome, regardless of how long the condition has been prevailing. These 4 words, and then Jesus came, are redemptive because when he shows up, change is about to happen and reversal is guaranteed. In this text, we read of such an episode of change happening and reversal guaranteed. Here we read of the very kind of situation when life appears to be so unfair. A man of influence, a synagogue ruler, was faced with a domestic dilemma that forced him and drove him to seek the aid and assistance of Jesus. That dilemma being that his daughter was seriously ill. And it appeared that he had exhausted all of the means that he had to bring about her recovery. It is obvious that he became desperate because he left her bedside to seek out the help of one rumored to be able to do something about her condition. Is that right? You see, as a synagogue ruler, he certainly was not a disciple of Jesus's. Although not being an avid follower, he was quite aware of the words and work of Jesus and their impact upon the lives of so many others.